Kind of affects people here, right? The FCC is blocking purchases of new foreign-made routers, citing security concerns. March 23rd, the FCC said on Monday it was banning import of all foreign-made consumer routers, the latest crackdown on Chinese-made electronic gear over security concerns. Brother, I promise you. Also, that's our switching scenes image. Brother, I promise you, if China wanted to spy on us, they already have all of our computer parts. China has an estimated control of at least 60% of U.S. market for home routers, boxes that connect computers, phones, and smart devices to the internet. Agency said a White House convened review deemed imported routers pose a severe cybersecurity risk that could be leveraged to immediately and severely disrupt U.S. critical infrastructure. It said malicious actors have exploited security gaps in foreign-made routers to attack households, disrupt networks, enable espionage, and facilitate intellectual property theft, citing their role in major hacks like Volt and Salt Typhoon. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I kind of felt like something like this was going to come from the FCC eventually. Just because they're trying to figure out whatever they can do to blame on China. Genuinely, yes, are Chinese-made devices probably a national security risk? Yes. But we've been doing this for decades. Lawmakers have previously raised security concerns about Chinese-made routers, and Representative John Lanner, the Republican chair of House Select Committee on China, praised the FCC order. Today's tremendous decision at the FCC, or by the FCC and the Trump admin, protects our country against China's relentless cyber attacks to make it clear that these devices should be excluded from our critical infrastructure. Routers are key to keeping us all connected. We cannot allow Chinese technology to be at the center of that. Then you should have fucking put money into the infrastructure. Chinese embassy in Washington did not immediately comment. Last month, Texas AG Ken Paxton sued TP-Link Systems, a California-based router manufacturer, spun off from a Chinese firm for allegedly marketing its network devices deceptively and allowing Beijing to access American consumer devices. TP-Link Systems said it would vigorously defend its reputation, adding that the Chinese government had no form of ownership or control over the company, its products, or user data. It's the same thing as the TikTok ban. But this is less immediately obvious than the TikTok ban. Like, significantly less immediately obvious than the TikTok ban. Because with the TikTok ban, that affects you day to day. This we will not see for a while. We won't see router prices go up for quite a while now, I feel like. Average router price. Yeah, $75 to $200 according to Google. And honestly, most of our routers are made from Chinese products. Yeah, like Wirecutter, $87, $150, $90. These will probably be double or tripled in the next year or two. You will not see this for a while. I mean, it's just stupid bullshit. We spy on China, China spies on us. We know it, they know it. And stuff like this literally does nothing but put strain on a market that doesn't need the strain, right now at least. Our FCC is completely fucked on the front of what's it called? Competent administration. There is this video I saw from Level 2 Jeff a while ago, or not a while ago today, while I was at work. You can make routers at home.
Looks like they're going to be banning all consumer routers, and if that ban were in place months ago, then this device, which I reviewed on this channel, would have been illegal for me to buy from somebody that's not in the US, because this was made not in the US, even though it's completely open source, and probably for that reason alone is one of the most secure ways that you can build your own router.
Yes, you can very easily build your own router. It's not very difficult. I've done it.
To your house or your business. But on the flip side, this is for consumer routers, not business routers or something.
Yep, exactly. I thank you for pointing out that detail I missed. That very obvious detail. So this is only for consumer routers. I didn't realize that.
Like that, and this law is very confusing for anybody with a lot of technical knowledge, because it...
Thank you, Level 2 Jeff, for giving me more technical knowledge than I had.
Basically is saying that you can't sell consumer routers with parts not made in the US or with substantial activity in the device manufacturing that's not in the US. I don't understand it. I don't know why this law is being proposed. From a very strict security perspective, yeah, it's good to know that your supply chain for your parts, like where they're made and who makes them and who touches them, it's important to know that that's correct. But historically, companies in the US would manage their own supply chains, and you would trust or not trust different vendors. And some vendors have had better track records than others. But I think that this just highlights the fact that home labbers like me, who are building our own routers, this is a dual 2.5 gigabit hat for a Raspberry Pi 5,
And it's very easy to find all this stuff in like open source locations. But granted, then that comes with another security risk. You don't want random people having your information.
And this is a dual Ethernet box from Waveshare that you install a little Raspberry Pi inside, and you can build your own router using open source software like OpenWRT. This makes it all the more important because you can have full control over what you let into your house through the internet, and you have more ownership over it instead of just saying like, oh yeah, whatever the ISP provides, I'm going to use that. Because I think on one side of the equation, yeah, it's good for security.
And internet prices will probably go up because of this, because ISPs like to provide their own. So when they have to pay more for routers, they will charge their consumers more for router installments, which means that people like me or you with like very good technological experience in doing research on our own, it's not really going to affect us as much. Especially people with already routers. Like your router is good for a very, 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 very long time. But your parents or people who are just moving here, who are trying to get set up with the internet, is going to be a much more expensive cost on their front.
To tighten down where equipment can come from in your home. But on the other side, that tightening down could also mean, hey, more backdoors for the NSA or more backdoors so that different agencies can spy on you and things like that. And I think as an American citizen who cares about freedom and the ability to have privacy, I would rather not have everything be controlled through like a state agency who gets to sell things to me and who doesn't here in the US, because none of the routers that are manufactured today will have parts and chips and everything all made in the USA. That's just not possible. And it seems like there's two possibilities. One is that some US company that manufactures some parts of their routers here in the US is going to stand to gain a lot of money out of this ruling. The other alternative is that maybe this is just a way to extract money from companies that want to sell in the US without using a tariff. Instead of using a tariff, they use like an internal type of bribe saying like, if you want to sell things here, you can get one of these exemptions that we have, but you kind of have to know the right person or spend the right amount of money, which is really sad and a shame because that means a company like Mono, which is making this gateway, which is really awesome, a dual 10 gigabit gateway, they would probably not be able to do that because they're not going to have the money to spend to pay for the quote unquote bribe money to get the exemption to sell this thing here. So what would really happen is that devices like this that are sold as routers would not make it to the US. But if you sold a device like this, which is just a dual 2.5 gigabit network interface, this might be able to get sold in the US, and then you could build your own router. So I don't know, maybe they could sell this and say, oh, this is just a computer, and it happens to have all these ports. And then if you live in the US, if you wanted to build your own router out of it, you could, make your own software for it, and then they could provide a configuration. I don't know. Most of these companies that have US-made things, it's just a sticker on the back or just the case and the final assembly or something like that. It's not like the whole supply chain is here in the US because we don't make the chips in these things. We don't make the Wi-Fi technology. We might design parts of it, but we do not.
We literally make fucking no tech in the US. Like, literally none. Because the US refuses to spend money on infrastructure. We've outsourced all of our money to cheaper, more, how do I put this, lax on human rights countries where child labor is okay.
We don't have the manufacturing capability to make routers in the US, at least not on the scale that we need for homes to have real good internet access. Anyway, that's a little weird rant, and I was just surprised to hear this news, and it's very disappointing. But on the flip side, maybe this will motivate consumers to actually own their own internet connections a little more through running software.
And it won't. It won't.
For like OpenWRT and open source things, because that's the only way to have actual
Linux head. Linux head! This guy's a Linux head.
Knowledge of like what's actually happening in your network instead of just relying on your ISP. But who am I kidding? Most people don't even know that this is happening or care. They just sign up for internet, get a box, they plug in the box, and the box gives them internet, and they don't really care. Anyway, I will...
True. Man, I can't fucking stand the FCC under Trump. It's such a frustrating administration to watch because just stupid rulings like this made for money purposes. It's always going to be frustrating though. So I hate everything. That's true. That's true.